91-year-old Adolfo Celaya, whose friends call him Harpo, is well known here in Tucson and in his hometown in Florence, Arizona. Harpo is widely considered a World War II hero, but many don't realize he was also an accomplished athlete and led Florence High School to an improbable run to a state title in basketball after he served. But Harpo's journey all began with a stunning story of survival. July 30th, 1945, a Japanese torpedo struck the USS Indianapolis, and then a second torpedo. Within 12 minutes, the flagship of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet sunk. Of the 1,196 people on board, around 900 made it into the water alive. After 5 days at sea, only 317 survived. One of them, former Tucson resident Adolfo Celaya, known as Harpo among friends.
Somebody out there must like me, and that's the way I looked at it.
At the age of 17, Harpo also survived what the Smithsonian has called the worst shark attack on humans in history. Dozens of his comrades were finished off by sharks before U.S. rescue crews arrived.
When you're up in the plane, you look down and the ocean looks very calm, but it's not calm.
Harpo attributes his survival at sea to the skills he acquired while swimming up current in irrigation ditches in Florence as a kid.
And I was only probably 6, 7 years old.
After being discharged as an 18-year-old now in Tucson, Harpo found himself drinking every day at the old Ross Cruz bar when Florence basketball coach George Ahi walked in, invited him to a drink, and then asked him to consider going back to high school while getting paid through the GI Bill.
I never even thought I'd ever come to Florence to play basketball.
But Harpo did as an 18-year-old freshman. Despite being considered the best player in town, the principal demanded Harpo not be put on the starting lineup because he was Mexican-American.
It didn't look right for 5 Hispanics to be playing on a team with one Anglo.
But the following year, Harpo became a starter and led the Florence Gophers to the state playoffs. Still, the discrimination of that area lingered on. It wasn't uncommon to see signs that read,
"No Mexicans or dogs allowed in a restaurant."
On the court, Harpo would sometimes speak Spanish, even with some of his Anglo teammates.
Tírala pa acá, or those different things.
And in one playoff matchup, the coach of a team from the Phoenix area even tried to say the Florence squad should forfeit their game. And the reason?
He said they're speaking Spanish. Show me in the rule book where it says that you can't speak Spanish. And the coach couldn't come up with it.
Fast forward to Bear Down Gym at the U of A in the 1947 high school state championship game against Douglas High. The underdog Florence Gophers were leading, and the person with the ball dribbling out the clock was none other than Harpo Celaya. The proud Purple Heart recipient still reminisces about being a teenager who sometimes suffered from PTSD and said he envisioned the opposing team as his attackers out at sea.
Well, I had five guys from Douglas running after me, and I put around, and I said, it looked like sharks coming after me, and I ran away. I'm getting out of this.
Harpo can smile now because he dribbled out the clock and the buzzer sounded, and Florence High won a state title. As the community here in Florence, Arizona can attest, Harpo Celaya has spent most of his 91 years assisting others, whether it be family members, fellow teammates, student athletes, or of course, something well documented, helping out servicemen in the South Pacific during World War II. And of course now, I feel like it's a tremendous honor for me, getting an opportunity to have him give me an assist. Nailing a shot like that, pure luck. And Harpo also admits fortune has definitely been on his side. From a stunning story of survival in the South Pacific to a state title and a banner at Florence High School where Harpo still finds time to admire and reflect, to holding that championship trophy earned over 70 years ago.
As a 17-year-old kid, you dream about those things, but I never thought it would ever happen.
And for this war hero, it did. Thanks for your service, Harpo. If you missed Matt Brode's first piece of our two-part series on Harpo Celaya's amazing life as a survivor and war hero, no worries, you can see it all on KVOA.com. I'm Paul Cicala. Back to you.